Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's we'll be looking at a GMC Yukon AT4 Ultimate. I'm going to explain why you should get this over any other package on the Yukon, and why you should get this instead of a Cadillac Escalade. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the National GMC for giving me some time with this Yukon. Link to their website in the description down below. If you have any questions, need any help, just ask for David. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a 6.2 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed. Fuel economy is 14 around town, 18 on the highway, with power outputs being 420 horsepower and then 460 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So let's focus on some key details here on the AT4 Ultimate and also talk about the benefits of this over the Escalade. So first off, the headlights I think are pretty cool with the little animation they have going on there. This looks very premium with the grille trim. You've got recovery points. You also have a more aggressive front approach angle. And so this has the added practicality of, well, being able to off-road. And speaking of off-road, look at that. You've got real all-terrain tires. So that adds the utility that this vehicle has that a Denali Ultimate or an Escalade does not have. Yes, it has the suspension with both of those vehicles, the air suspension, but tires and, you know, having a little bit of extra protection and everything's nice. You can see all the trim here looks very premium. And just generally speaking, it's a good looking vehicle. And then you still have all the same functionality in the key fob and everything with the hatch opening, remote start, opening the window and everything. And again, this is the same vehicle as other Yukons and then as the Escalade. So you've got tons of space. You've got the big space with the third row. Notice you can do that all automatic with the raising function. I mean, nice premium trim here. I understand the Escalade can be a little bit more stylized, but this, in my opinion, when you look at the exterior, looks more than premium enough. And then when it comes to the interior, because this is an AT4 Ultimate, you have a really nice interior. I mean, look at these seats, for example. Really nice trim there. You got TVs in the back. You've got a screen here to control stuff like the climate controls, so very kind of modern, futuristic feeling without being too overwhelming. And I think the front end really shows this too. Again, with all of the nice trim. But you'll notice we still have tons of physical controls. The Escalade, everything's a screen. And so it's nice having physical buttons where you can just reliably press something and know that it's always going to do that thing. And then you can see AT4 Ultimate there. Speaker on the headrest as well. So it's got some fancy stuff that you see in the Escalade. It also has the Super Cruise function, and we'll pop it on. Nice digital gauge cluster, but then you'll notice that we have kind of like a normal dash. We do have a big infotainment system with a 360 camera, and we do have a heads-up display. So it's not like this doesn't have tech. It just doesn't have a huge screen all across the dash that is quite cumbersome, if you ask me. And it's got this little storage container, which I think is pretty cool. And then, yeah, lots of AT4 Ultimate. But yeah, nice trim. Got a big center console, phone charging pad, got some more physical controls. So again, you look at this interior and it feels premium, it feels rugged at the same time. So I think you kind of get the best of both. And I almost forgot to show you guys capacities. So 1451 for the payload, towing capacity is 8,000 pounds. So what that means is you can use this as a family car. You can use this as an off-roader. You can use this as a truck because it can tow as well. Whereas an Escalade and a Denali Ultimate, you lose the off-roader part with those. You can only use them as a family car and as a tow rig. And then obviously daily driver with all three of them. And this leads to the pricing. So the sticker's for $100,140. So it is less expensive than a Denali Ultimate and a lot less expensive than an Escalade. So the value is just so strong with this. Let's take it out and drive it. T4 Ultimate, the Yukon, we'll say the GM SUV that you should buy if you're gonna go Lux. If you're gonna go Lux. If you're not gonna go Lux, I actually think the best bang for your buck is probably a Tahoe Z71. Yeah, I say Tahoe Z71 because that's literally $30,000 less. About $70,000 gets you all the same stuff that this has, pretty much, right? Off-roader, it's a daily driver, it's super comfortable, it can tow, it can carry people around, so it does all this stuff. You don't get quite as many luxury features with it, so stuff that you'd be missing, which, by the way, we're gonna put this in 2-wheel drive. Stuff you might be missing with it is like the massage seat function that this has, right? And then the nicer trim throughout, and some of the tech, like this has a camera rear view mirror. So yeah, you do miss some stuff, but you can also add that. But then the price goes up to like 80 grand if you get more loaded up Z71, and then at that point, once you're at that $80,000 price point, still 20 grand less. So just some food for thought. Resolution on this camera system is fantastic, by the way. Really like that. Now this V8 is very smooth. It's a big benefit of a big naturally aspirated V8 is the smooth power delivery. The other engine that I still haven't had a chance to test out in this vehicle, the LZO Duramax, it's also a smooth engine, being an inline 6. Hopefully I can get a test going with that in the near future. Yeah, it's incredible just how smooth everything is with this. The suspension, the engine, it's very well insulated in here too. It is a big SUV though. Yeah, you gotta love that NA V8 power. It's not necessarily the fastest on the planet, but just the way that NA V8s build power is really nice. And fuel economy is not great, but it's also a huge SUV, so you don't expect the fuel economy to be all that good. Yeah, and the ride, I mean, like right now I'm getting a massage and the air suspension's just floating down the road. It's really hard to beat this when it comes to comfort. And it's got a really long wheelbase, which helps out with comfort too. There's just a lot to love about this on the comfort side of things. So to cap things off, I think that this looks really cool. It drives really well. And like I said, the practicality is what I would say is the big selling point with this. Because $100,000 is a lot of money. If you're gonna spend $100,000 on a car, it's got to do it all, in my opinion. And I think this is pretty darn close to being able to do it all. Most trailers are going to be less in terms of weight than what this has in terms of towing capacity. And then you also have the payload side of it, right? This can, excuse me, this can fit the people. You probably wouldn't be able to fit all the people and doing the towing at the same time, right? There's going to be a little bit of a concession there. I'm going to see if I can find parking over here on the other side. But yeah, so tow rig and then tons of space. I mean, if you need tons of interior space, you just fold down the third row, as you guys saw. And then being able to take around all the people, and it's a very comfortable daily driver. And because it's independent suspension front and rear, it's actually really easy to maneuver. Like, this is a big vehicle, but it's not difficult to drive. It's easy to fit through things. It's not terrible. It's wide, but it's not terribly wide. And the independent suspension just means you've got a really good turning radius for how big the vehicle is. So it all comes together to create a pretty compelling package, if you ask me. So let me know what you guys think about the AT4 Ultimate. But I think in terms of GM SUVs, big SUVs, right? If you're gonna go luxe, this is the route to go. Because I don't know, it's got all the same features as the Denali Ultimate. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just go back there. Funny. It's got all the same features of the Denali Ultimate, but then it also has the off-roading. So that's all.